So here we have Hebe is one of our clients. Thank you so much for coming on. And it's really just to have a catch up and talk about your journey of your life insurance journey and how that happens. So yeah, you fire away, Hebe. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. So as a family, obviously, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Hebe. I'm 28, and we're a family of 5. I always have to double check that in my head that it is 5. 2 adults and 3 kids. We have had 2 houses. This is our second. It actually scares me how much I didn't know before that I know now, but we'll go into that in a minute. Obviously got the 3 kids. I've got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and nearly 2-year-old, which is scary. And yeah, when we bought this as our second house, we just went to a mortgage broker, and it was an amazing mortgage broker. But the cover that we got was completely not for us at all. I was very pregnant with Leo at the time. Obviously pregnant, if any of my followers are watching this. I had a pretty impressive bump on me, so it was pretty obvious. And it was just didn't include any of the cover for the bump. It didn't include. We were on a joint decreasing. Is that right? Joint.
Yeah.
We were decreasing, but I think when you're not really sure about your insurance, you don't know what it means, or you just sort of go, yeah, okay, like that's the lowest price. I'll just click that one, and that's not really. It's not the right thing for us as a family. I don't even think the kids were covered in the price that we were paying.
No, it's
taught me that if something happened to one of us, that had lapsed, so the policy would cease to exist, which obviously you would still need for the rest of the family. So yeah, you kind of saved me on that one.
Oh, bless you. And do you know what? It's not your fault of not understanding. Obviously, that's why you have an advisor in place to show you what's available. But I was just so shocked that you actually walked into his offices heavily pregnant. But like you say, they're amazing at mortgages. That's their job. That's what they do, and they're fantastic at it. But unfortunately, on the protection side, he only offered you a joint decreasing life insurance policy, which was around the £8.65 per month. And you walked in, no mention of bump cover, children's cover, critical illness for you guys, no income protection. So it's just quite shocking that, as an advisor, there is some out there that actually just go straight for life insurance, cheap as chips. That's what you want. You know no different. So obviously, until you met us, you didn't have a clue about any of these other insurances that are there. And that's why we like just raising awareness. And thank you for obviously coming on and helping us, because you were even shocked at what was available, because you'd never heard about bump cover or children's cover before, had you?
No, and it's like it feels kind of wasted now. And although luckily I didn't need it, some people aren't that fortunate or have situations where they would need that. So I still about it now, and I'm not pregnant, and I'm not, having any more children, but I still shout about it because there is people that do these things happen to, unfortunately. And yeah, I definitely think there needs to be more information that's disclosed, even for like your typical compare the markets and the what do you call them?
Gimmicky people.
Because it's information, like you just don't really know what you're signing up to. And then just a case of that's it, and half the time you just let it keep rolling over the years. And I think I've had 3 children and I've not been covered at all, really, for any of them. It's quite scary. How would we have survived if something would have happened? It's not a very nice thought, really.
Oh, bless you. But well, that's not your fault at all. And this is why it's great when we see advisors out there shouting about bump cover, children's cover, single policies and not joint policies. So basically the one that you had at previously, if anything would have happened to your husband, that would have paid out a lump sum of money to you, which just was for the mortgage amount. And then the whole thing cancels down, which then leaves you unprotected. So even though you're both named on the policy, you're not both covered. It is just one pot of money there for families. So this is why I'm always talking about single policies. So if anything happens to your husband, that pays out to you. But also if anything then happens to you, that then is there for the children's security for the future as well. So it's just giving families better options by having single plans. So It's there's so much out there, and it's so little difference to do that as well. So with yours, if you don't mind me chatting, so you are obviously paying now £19 more than what you was paying originally, but you now have single policies, you have level term policies, which means that lump sum of money stays the same, it doesn't decrease. So if anything does happen, say in 5, 10 years, you're going to get that lump sum of money, which is more than the mortgage paid out, but also have the surplus left over just to help replace the loss of income as well for your husband. Children's cover, there's £20,000 worth of children cover on there as well for each child up to the age of 23. And then the free additional benefits, so the mental health sessions that are free, the GP services, but all of that is under the £30 per month that you're paying at the moment for everything. So you get so much more for your families, but obviously you don't know what's there. So yeah, what did you think when you obviously learned about the children's cover? What did you understand it? Did you get what it covered? What were you more surprised at?
I think I was more surprised that I wasn't more aware of it, and obviously, like, you've been dead helpful. Literally, I ask quite a lot of silly questions, and you
They're not.
Right into it and help me. So I actually feel really positive now that I actually know what I've got and what's covered with the family, which I think, and it's not much more per month. Like, really, someone might go, oh, it's £19 more, but you probably spend £30 on the Chinese on a Saturday night. It's, it's relative, isn't it? So I'm so much more clued up on it now, and it just makes me feel a bit more at ease that now I know about it all, and these things do happen, that I would be covered, and so would Sam, and so would the kids.
Yeah, amazing. So obviously your first experience then about life insurance, what was that first experience like? Was it just, yep, you're sorted, you're going through a mortgage and that's it, we know we're covered? And so what was that experience like?
It was very much an email, like, we've got this one and this is the cheapest, and I think you've got to look past that it's the cheapest, because that cheapest could be the worst, most inadequate cover for you, which it turns out in my case was, and it would have basically just not even been worth it. I may as well have not paid the £7 or £9 a month or whatever it was. Just, yeah, and I don't know. I think you kind of sold this. It's compulsory. You must have it with a mortgage, and there's so much more to it than that. And yeah, it's all about awareness, isn't it? I feel like now I feel a lot more confident with it. When I get messages, I'm like, right, go and speak to him.
Oh, bless you. You actually do get a lot of messages, don't you? So obviously you've shared us on your social media about your journey and about bump cover and children's cover. So thank you for that. I've so many people helping us raise awareness about this, and this is why obviously this conversation is so important, because there's so many options there for families, and there's still, affordable. I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Is knowing that, and you know so much now, which is amazing. That I remember first chatting to you, you were obviously a bit scared and a bit skeptical, just thinking, oh, I don't know about these options. But once we obviously just chatted and you learnt more about what was available, you were like, oh my God, are you joking? And you just couldn't believe the different variations of covers for families. So it's it's great. It's great.
Services, I didn't even know that was a thing, and obviously it came at a time when you can't get a GP, so hard. So that's like such an added perk for emergencies, essentially, not just for the kids, for me as well. Like, if I needed to go, it's all included, and just all these little things that you just don't get told about. So I will forever shout out. Forever.
You cute way. I actually used it the other day. My son has a really bad ingrowing toenail. So last week he came back from the chiropodist. They've actually made it worse. And she said, you need to go to your doctors, you need antibiotics. So Thursday morning, called the doctor. Sorry, we don't have an appointment for 3 weeks and we can't send you prescription without seeing the injury. I was like, oh my God, I know that is really poorly. The ingrowing toenail was so bad. So I emailed them some pictures and they actually rang me back within half an hour to say, right, Emma, yeah, we need to get you sorted. We need to get you booked in. It will actually take 3 weeks. We can book you in. I said, that's not good enough. He can't walk on this. He's catching it. It's infected. So I actually rang the GP services, booked in that night for 6 o'clock, and then they just sent me a prescription for some antibiotics. And you just think, why is it so difficult? So
it's bonkers. I think a lot of the time as well, people are almost scared to ask questions as well. I'll get the odd person that's like, oh, and I know for myself, like, I'll say like, oh, I ask silly questions, but really, is it a silly question? It's just like trying to build your own knowledge about what you've got. Like, I'm paying for it. I should know what I'm paying for, what it means. I don't know. I kind of feel like for those people that still haven't rang you or haven't message because it's not a question. It's important when you pay for it. If you were paying a subscription for the gym and you weren't getting any perks for it, you question it. It's the same. If your Chinese didn't turn up, you'd question it. So I think it's obviously relative, but I think having that bit of knowledge now, what I would say to someone who's just not bothering, just keeps renewing it every year, would be to just speak to you and even have a little chat and let you just gauge where they're at and stuff. It's so important, so important.
You're a star. You're a star. It is. It's just. I think we've seen so many people struggling when there has been a claim and then they've not had the right protection in place, and I think that just breaks my heart because I just want to be able to help families. So even just reviewing your documents. Yesterday, I told 2 people to keep the life insurance because that was best for them, and we've then just arranged critical illness for them because they didn't have any in place for them or their 3 children. But he was really reassured to say, do you know what, Emma? A broker actually rang me last week and they actually told me that they were going to do a new policy for me. It was less cover. They then said it was going to be £20 a month more money, but he was pushing for me to have that insurance. And he said, but thank you to you for actually just reviewing our current documents, telling us to keep it, but then recommend something else just to run alongside it. And you just think there's so many brokers out there that actually are just get a sale on the board, sell whatever, and they move on. And that's not how insurance should be. It's leaving a lot of families at risk, really, and it just drives me bloody mad. I hate it. So people like you raising awareness, I can't thank you enough because it's helping so many families. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Brilliant.
What's this again? Explain this to me again.
Hey, and do you know what? Everyone feels silly doing it, but the more you ask questions, the more you're going to understand it, and then you get it, so you know what you're protected for. So if one of you are poorly, or the children is diagnosed with something, or you are, at least you know what money's going to be there to financially secure you moving forward. So it's great to talk about insurance and just raise that awareness. So it's thank you for everything. Honestly, I really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, you're a star, Hebe. Thank you.